The Dragon Ball franchise is filled to the brim with iconic moments. Scenes that make you scramble for the pause button so you can take in everything that's happening on screen. These highly paused moments range from climactic story beats accompanied by awesome visuals to battles so awesome you have to experience them frame by frame. Because there's so many awesome pause-worthy moments in the franchise, we decided to list off some of the coolest for you right here. There's no better way to start a video about the most iconic and pause-worthy moments in the Dragon Ball franchise than with Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation. Seriously, when you first saw this scene as a kid, you probably lost your dang mind. And you probably wish you had a way to pause it so you could take in just how freaking cool Goku's newfound power and badass blonde hair were. We don't blame ya, as this is easily one of the most iconic moments in Dragon Ball as well as anime overall. After hearing legends of the Super Saiyan and not quite getting a clear understanding of what it was, when it finally made its debut, it was fantastic. Even now, we're inclined to pause this scene when rewatching it just to take in how awesome and compelling Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation was. Truly one of the series' most incredible pause-worthy moments. Perhaps the second most iconic moment of Dragon Ball Z after Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation is, at least in America, the famous over 9,000 scene. This moment, which was Vegeta's response to such a high power level coming from such a low-class Saiyan, ended up going down in history as one of the most significant scenes in Dragon Ball. This was due in no small part to the original dub of the scene, which made for a much more eccentric performance and exaggeration of the line. This ended up leading to thousands of memes, meaning people had to pause this moment to get what they needed for making memes and parodying the moment in whatever they wished. But that's not the only reason why this scene could be considered one of the most paused moments in the franchise. It's also a powerful moment that just begs to be paused to see Vegeta's rageful disbelief. Dragon Ball Super Broly is without a doubt one of the best animated films to come out in the last few years, at least in terms of visual direction and quality of animation. The film's script and overall story has a few areas where it could have been better, but the visuals of it all were absolutely phenomenal. In fact, because of just how great the animation was, we had a hard time choosing just one pause-worthy moment throughout the many spectacular fight sequences. Thus, we wanted to dedicate an entry to the film as a whole, since anyone watching was likely to have paused multiple times throughout the fight scenes, just to take in what was going on during the fast-paced, action-packed spectacle. Seriously, sometimes you gotta stop half the fight scenes to appreciate the artistry and hard work that went into the film, from the insanely fluid movement to the fantastic choreography. While Dragon Ball Super Broly stands as a paragon of phenomenal animation and art direction, the series that preceded it was much less so. Right off the bat, it was made clear that the animation for Dragon Ball Super was going to have a pretty low bar set for the final product. This was likely the result of animators being given too little time to do too much work, so we want to make it clear we're not ridiculing the people behind these infamously poor quality moments. Rather, we're pointing out that due to the low quality of the final product, fans were quick to screen cap Super's earliest episodes, meaning they're amongst the most paused. These moments, goofy frames, and rushed drawings ended up getting memed and poked fun at quickly after they aired, thus going down as some of the most paused, most noteworthy parts of Super that were thankfully fixed in later versions of the episodes. While it might not be for us in particular, we're not here to judge you if you gave some of the more perverted moments of Dragon Ball a good pause and gawk. In fact, it helps prove our point that Dragon Ball has a lot of pause-worthy moments. These not safe for work scenes, sexy close-ups, and straight-up perverse moments often involve Master Roshi getting up to some nonsense. But regardless of the context, the Dragon Ball franchise, especially the original series, is full of this. Shall we say eye-catching material, if you know what we mean. As such, it's safe to say that many fans were quick to pause and likely rewatch some of the raunchier scenes in the franchise, be it out of curiosity, appreciation for the adult humor, or just straight-up attraction. Again, not really for us, but there's no denying that some of the Dragon Ball franchise's most paused moments came from NSFW scenes. As it was with Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation, his most recent transformation in the franchise, Ultra Instinct, ended up becoming an iconic pause-worthy moment. In fact, the fights that came about after Goku first started to show signs of Ultra Instinct resulted in their own share of pausable moments, the mastered form leading to even more. This is to say that both the image of Goku's mastered Ultra Instinct as well as the moves he was capable of pulling off with this new form led to some insanely awesome moments. These scenes definitely had fans pausing to check out all the badass action, especially since all the animation stops were pulled out for the final moments of the Tournament of Power. Goku and Jiren's fight being one of the most beautifully animated sequences in all of Dragon Ball. Seriously, pause any moment from this battle and you'll find a frame that is absolutely awesome. There are a number of reasons that a moment from Dragon Ball can become noteworthy, and thus one of the most paused scenes. In this particular case, it was used as evidence to figure out exactly what color Piccolo's blood really is. The scene in question is, of course, when Piccolo ripped off his arm in his fight against Goku, leading him to bleed profusely. In this scene, Piccolo's blood was red, but later in the series, Namekians were retconned to have purple blood. In explanations as to what Piccolo's true blood color was, many have used his arm-ripping scene to show what it was once portrayed as, thus making the scene likely to be paused frequently to get the screen cap. This might be a very specific way of saying Piccolo's arm-ripping scene is heavily paused, but the point still stands. We have no doubt viewers were caught by this moment for one reason or another. Thoughts on the Buu saga are undoubtedly mixed among Dragon Ball fans. While the story is a mess, there are some beloved set pieces throughout. Things like Super Saiyan 3 and Fusion that stick out as cool and captivating moments. Fusion specifically made for two highly paused moments, the first being the debut of Gotenks. For quite a bit of time, the Fusion dance was explored but not fully done perfectly, making for a slow build that when it finally came to fruition, made for a fantastic reveal. This was Gotenks, an arrogant combination of Goten and Trunks whose first time on screen no doubt led fans to want to pause the screen to take in his awesome design and cocky demeanor. Suffice it to say, Gotenks was really cool in his first appearance. Even if he didn't end up contributing all that much to the plot, he still made for an iconic moment that was likely frequently paused. Much like Gotenks' first appearance, Vegito's debut is also likely one of the most paused moments in the history of the Dragon Ball franchise. And really the main reason for this is probably because people just wanted to get a good look at the new form. Seriously, think back to the first time you watched the Buu saga, to the first time you witnessed the franchise's two biggest characters put aside their differences and join forces via Potara Fusion. It was awesome to see Vegito for the first time, and if you could, you probably would have paused the TV to study his awesome new character. Even if you're watching now, Vegito's design is so dang appealing it's worth it just to pause and take in the way that Toriyama combined both characters' outfits into one. There's no denying that with a character as cool as Vegito, his debut is likely one of the series' most paused moments. It's hard to imagine that the same kid who once hid behind his father as he introduced him to his old friends would eventually become the warrior who would defeat Cell. In fact, it's because of the growth that Gohan went through from his first appearance to his battle with Cell that makes the moment so great and so iconic. The scene in question is the one where Gohan ascended past his Super Saiyan form to achieve a brand new one that gave him the power to obliterate Cell. That first moment when we saw Super Saiyan 2 in all its glory, it was undeniably iconic. A moment that was likely paused by countless viewers hoping to savor the moment of Gohan coming into his own as a warrior. Truly, this iconic moment goes down as one of the most captivating scenes in the Dragon Ball franchise, one worthy of heavy pausing. There are a number of villain deaths in the Dragon Ball franchise that could be considered iconic, but King Piccolo's defeat in particular was quite the spectacle. For one thing, the character was the first major antagonist in the series, the first villain to pose a major threat to the world, and as such, his defeat was all the more impressive, satisfying, and captivating. The tension leading up to the final moments of Goku's battle with King Piccolo also served to make his defeat iconic, since Goku was battered, beaten, and only left with one usable hand. But he used that hand to propel himself with a Kamehameha and punch right through the Great Demon King in a moment that's pause-worthy both for its great dramatic staging and because of how satisfying it is. We have no doubt fans wanted to pause this moment to get a good look at Goku punching a frickin' hole through someone. Before King Piccolo's demise, he spat up one final egg. This one containing his reincarnation, Piccolo Jr., who was originally showed to be as evil as his father, a villain who wanted to enslave the world. But as time went on, Piccolo's cold demon heart was warmed by the actions and kindness of one boy, Gohan. Yeah, the son of Piccolo's greatest enemy ended up changing him for the better, leading to yet another iconic moment of the series, his sacrifice. In a moment of fear, Gohan couldn't move out of the way of Nappa's attack, too scared to utilize Piccolo's training. but he was spared by Piccolo, who jumped in the way at the last minute. Both this scene, where Piccolo takes the full brunt of the attack, as well as his tear-filled speech and goodbye to Gohan, are easily amongst the most iconic and most paused moments in the franchise. Here's a question. When you think of Goku and Vegeta getting ready for a fight, what do you picture? What battle stance do they get into before the fight starts? The image that popped into your head was very clear, wasn't it? Goku readied himself with a low-down, hands-outward pose, and Vegeta did that thing with his fingers. These fighting stances are burned into the brains of Dragon Ball fans, both because they are the most common poses that the characters get into before a fight, and because they were utilized in one of the most iconic battles in the series. Goku and Vegeta's first fight is one of the most well-done battles in the series, and because of this, the moments before the battle began became some of the most iconic images in Dragon Ball. Goku and Vegeta readying themselves likely being one of the most paused moments in the history of the franchise. Vegeta and Goku's battle stances before their first fight was definitely an iconic pause-worthy moment, but there was another equally powerful moment within the battle itself. Of course, we're talking about the famous first beam struggle of the series, where Goku combated Vegeta's Galick Gun with his Kamehameha. Vegeta was attempting to destroy the Earth with his blast, since he was acting like a crybaby sore loser, but Goku wasn't going to let that happen, leading him to fire out his own energy attack in one of the franchise's most iconic moments. Seriously, just look at this scene. It's a gosh dang masterpiece when you pause it at just the right moment, which we imagine lots of fans do when they watch this epic battle. Without a doubt, the series' first beam struggle eventually went down as one of the most capturing scenes in Dragon Ball, prompting fans to pause and take a gander at its glory. Vegeta came a long way from his first battle with Goku. No longer was he someone who felt he had to beat others down to show how strong he was. He was now a hero of Earth, someone with a family who he cared for and would do anything to protect. It was for this reason that his descent back into his old evil ways was so tragic. He had thought of himself as weak for having a family he cared about, so he was vulnerable to Babidi's manipulation, leading to the infamous Majin Vegeta moment. This scene, specifically Vegeta's display of just how little he cared about people by killing members of the World Martial Arts Tournament audience, definitely goes down as one of the most captivating parts of the Buu saga. As such, we imagine it's one of the most paused moments in the franchise, fans stopping to see Vegeta at his worst after coming so far. After his Majin backslide, Vegeta managed to make up for actions by sacrificing himself to destroy Buu. It didn't work, but the scene would go down as one of the best parts of the Buu saga, and one of Vegeta's strongest character moments. Vegeta's sacrifice is iconic for a number of reasons. It's powerful, it's well animated, and it has a fantastic painted image that served as a goodbye to the character. Sure, Vegeta eventually came back, but the proud prince got a proper send-off with a beautiful image, a masterpiece of a final shot before his final explosion that we're certain is one of the most paused moments in the series. Either because it's so captivating and beautiful, or because fans had to stop the show and let the tears flow in response to the character's sacrifice. The first episode of Dragon Ball Z is pretty dang exciting and ambitious. Think about it. The episode drops a lot of new information on us. Specifically that Goku's an alien, information that's told to us through his long-lost brother Raditz, a powerful warrior that stands as the series' first villain. In fact, Raditz's first appearance is very important and iconic for this reason. He represents the opposite of Goku, what he might have been had he not come to Earth. As such, that scene where Raditz first arrives on Earth, as well as the first time he met Goku, stand as some of the most iconic parts of the franchise. These pause-worthy moments beg viewers to stop and look at this crazy alien armor-wearing warrior that claims Goku is an alien and should have destroyed the Earth by now. Truly striking information with an iconic image to go along with it. It's pretty bold for a series to kill its main character in the second episode, but that's just how Dragon Ball rolls, baby. Of course, Goku's death also serves a few purposes. It showed how strong the Saiyan threat was, it led Goku to train to become stronger in Otherworld and set up other aspects of the Saiyans' arrival. Goku's death is important, which is part of the reason why it's so iconic, specifically the moment when Piccolo's special beam cannon pierces through Goku and Raditz's bodies, putting an end to both of the Saiyans. Think about how iconic and captivating that scene was when you first saw it. It's probably so memorable and important that you gave it a good old pause during rewatches just to take in the impact of it all. It was a scene in which a hero gave his life to save the world, which is always iconic in our book, While future Trunks might not be everybody's favorite character, there's no denying that the second he appeared on screen, it was one of the coolest things you'd ever seen in your life. He was just this badass teen warrior from the future with a cool outfit and a frickin' awesome sword. His appearance immediately capturing the eyes of fans watching for the first time. Both because of this and because he turned into a Super Saiyan and annihilated Frieza and King Cold, Trunks' first appearance ended up being one of the most iconic parts of the series. In fact, we have no doubt that when Trunks first showed up, fans were desperate to pause the screen and take in his badass Time Warrior aesthetic, likely deciding right then and there that he was their favorite character. And even if he wasn't, there's no denying that the character's debut was one of the most captivating moments in Dragon Ball. Last and certainly not least, we have the debut of Super Saiyan 3. One of the many badass and captivating set pieces of the Buu saga that make it a bit more enjoyable to watch. For reals, even if you didn't care for the Buu saga up to Goku's first Super Saiyan 3 transformation, you gotta admit that that scene itself probably got you at least a little bit excited. It definitely got us pumped up, both because of the screaming, so much screaming, and because of the final part of the transformation, the full reveal of Super Saiyan 3. Pause that part of the scene and take a look at the awesome form and how ready for battle Goku is. It's worth it every time to stop and take in the spectacle, which is why we decided to include it in our video of the most pause-worthy moments in all of Dragon Ball. So, there you have it, all of the moments throughout Dragon Ball that have warranted a pause or two. Did we leave anything out? What were some of your favorite pause-worthy scenes in the franchise? Let us know down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more Dragon Ball videos. Thanks for watching.